Welcome to US Numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare Washington quarter dollar coins, those ordinary-looking coins that could actually be worth a fortune. From minting errors to low mintage surprises, these hidden gems might be sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned as we uncover the most valuable Washington quarters that every collector should know about. Top 1 today. You're going to hear a story about a coin that might be sitting quietly in your pocket, coin jar, or tucked away in an old drawer, but it could be worth a small fortune. We're talking about a coin that looks just like any other quarter at first glance, but trust me, once you learn the hidden secrets behind it, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. Yes, today we're talking about the 1994 Washington quarter from the United States of America. This coin may appear ordinary, but don't let that fool you. It's got a history, it's got mystery, and in some cases, an extremely high price tag that will absolutely shock you. Let's start with a little background. The Washington quarter has been a staple in U.S. coinage since 1932, originally created to honor the 200th birthday of the first U.S. president, George Washington. Fast forward to 1994, and you'll find a coin that still features the same iconic profile of Washington on the obverse, and the soaring eagle on the reverse. These coins were part of the regular issue, minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and used daily across the country. Millions were produced, but here's the twist: not all 1994 quarters are created equal. While most were used in everyday transactions, some 1994 quarters have become rare collector's items due to unique minting errors and special conditions. And it's these details that separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary treasure. So what should you be looking for? One of the most exciting features that adds serious value to a 1994 Washington quarter is a minting error. These include off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned when struck, creating an obvious and sometimes dramatic shift in the design. There are also double die errors, where parts of the coin's design, like the word Liberty or the date, appear to be slightly doubled. These mistakes happen during the minting process and are incredibly rare. But when they do occur, collectors go crazy for them. Another variant includes the missing clad layer error. Washington quarters are normally made with a copper core and a nickel outer layer. But sometimes, due to a flaw in the minting process, the outer nickel layer is completely or partially missing. This results in a quarter with a duller, copper appearance, and if it's a 1994 version, consider yourself lucky, because those can fetch huge money. Now, aside from errors, condition plays a massive role in a coin's value. A 1994 Washington quarter that has been in circulation for years, showing wear and scratches, may only be worth its face value. But a quarter that's been preserved in uncirculated or mint state condition, with sharp edges, no wear, and a brilliant shine, now that's a different story. Collectors pay a premium for coins in pristine shape, especially if they have any of the rare errors we just mentioned. And here's where it gets exciting. A 1994 Washington quarter with a rare minting error and in near-perfect condition has sold for an eye-popping price. Imagine holding something that millions of people overlook every single day, but in the right condition with the right features, it transforms from 25 cents into a prize worth talking about. Are you ready for the reveal? One particular 1994 Washington quarter with rare mint characteristics and flawless condition has been valued at an astonishing $69,000. That's right, $69,000 for a single quarter. Just imagine finding that kind of treasure in your coin collection, or discovering it while sorting through old coins passed down from a grandparent. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt for history, for hidden gems, and for the unexpected value in everyday objects. So, if you've got a 1994 Washington quarter, take a close look. Check the mint mark. Look for errors. Examine the condition. You never know, you could be holding something far more valuable than you ever imagined. Top 2. We're exploring the fascinating story of the 1995 United States Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin might look just like every other quarter you've spent on a cup of coffee or dropped into a parking meter. But there's more to it than meets the eye. Some versions of this very coin are not only rare, they're worth tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, what appears to be an ordinary 25-cent piece could actually be a secret treasure hiding in plain sight. Let's go back to the mid-90s. In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters for everyday use, striking them in both Philadelphia and Denver. These coins featured the classic design we all know, George Washington's profile on the front, and the powerful image of a bald eagle with spread wings on the reverse. It was the last full year before the launch of the 50-state quarters program, so it marked the end of a long era of a single design that ran from 1932 to 1998. But here's what makes the 1995 quarter truly special: not all of them were made the same. And some of them are worth an absolute fortune today. Collectors across the country have been on the hunt for error coins, those rare mistakes made during the minting process that turn a regular coin into a valuable collector's dream. So what kind of errors should you be looking for in a 1995 Washington quarter? One major error to watch out for is the double die obverse. This is where parts of the design, like the word "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or even Washington's profile, appear doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These are very noticeable and make the coin immediately more valuable. A clear double die can transform your quarter from spare change into a collector's prize. Another exciting error involves the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly aligned when it was struck, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin, especially if the date and other identifying marks are still clearly visible. Then there's the clad layer error, a favorite among collectors. These quarters are normally made with a copper core and a nickel outer layer, giving them their familiar silvery shine. But sometimes, during the minting process, the outer layer fails to attach, leaving the coin with a coppery or patchy appearance. These unusual coins are rare, and highly desirable, and it's not just about errors. Condition matters a lot. If your 1995 quarter is in mint state condition, meaning it looks almost brand new, with no scratches, no discoloration, and sharp detail, it can already be worth more than face value. But if you find a mint state quarter with one of these rare errors, then you're talking serious money. That's why collectors across the country are carefully checking every 1995 quarter they come across. Because if you've got the right combination of condition and error, you might be holding onto something incredibly valuable, something that's not just old, but collectible, unique, and historically important. Now here's the part you've been waiting for: the value. A 1995 Washington quarter, in pristine, uncirculated condition and featuring a rare and confirmed error, has sold for a jaw-dropping $75,000. Yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a coin. That many people have unknowingly spent on candy or dropped into a vending machine. That's the thrill of coin collecting. You never know what you might have until you take a closer look. So the next time you're going through your change, or flipping through that old coin jar, keep your eyes open for a 1995 quarter. Look closely at the details. Inspect both sides. Check for doubling, check for minting flaws, and above all, check the condition. That small piece of metal could be your ticket to an unbelievable payday. Top 3. We're about to explore the incredible story behind a coin that millions of Americans have spent without a second thought: the 1996 United States Washington quarter. But here's the twist: what looks like an ordinary 25-cent piece could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right, so listen closely, because this is one coin you won't want to overlook. The Washington quarter has been a mainstay of American coinage since 1932, created to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president. Over the years, its design stayed mostly the same, with Washington's profile on the front and a majestic eagle on the reverse. And in 1996, the United States Mint continued to strike these coins by the millions in both Philadelphia and Denver. So what makes the 1996 quarter so interesting, and in some cases, so valuable? It's not just age that gives a coin its worth. It's all about condition, rarity, and minting errors. Let's break this down. First, let's talk about the condition. A 1996 quarter that has been in circulation for years, bouncing around in pockets, wallets, and drawers, will probably show signs of wear. These might be scratches, faded letters, or dulled edges. But if you find one in mint state condition, meaning it looks just as perfect as the day it was struck, with sharp detail and brilliant shine. That coin already holds more value to collectors. Now, here's where things get even more exciting. The rarity of certain 1996 quarters is tied directly to minting errors. Mistakes made during the striking process can create unique coins that are incredibly desirable in the collector's market. And yes, these errors can skyrocket the value of a coin from just a few cents to thousands of dollars. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1996 Washington quarter is the double die error. This happens when the coin is struck twice by misaligned dies, resulting in parts of the design, like the lettering or even Washington's face, appearing to be slightly doubled. When you see it, it's obvious, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for such rare finds. Another major error is the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly positioned during the minting process. The result? A quarter with a visibly shifted design. Some may have part of the eagle missing, or the date may be pressed at an odd angle. These coins are hard to find, especially with the date and mint mark still visible, and that's what makes them valuable. And let's not forget the missing clad layer error. Washington quarters are typically composed of a copper core and a nickel outer layer. Sometimes, during production, the outer layer is missing on one or both sides, leaving the coin with a coppery look. These coins not only look strange, they're extremely rare, and that rarity drives up the price. So how do these errors happen? It's all due to the high-speed, high-volume nature of minting. Even with all the precision of modern machinery, mistakes still slip through, and when they do, they turn a common coin into an uncommon treasure. Now, imagine finding one of these rare 1996 quarters, with a dramatic error, preserved in mint condition, never touched by circulation. It's like striking gold for collectors. These coins are not just numismatic curiosities, they're pieces of history, symbols of craftsmanship, and in some cases, serious investments. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, a 1996 United States Washington quarter, featuring a rare minting error and graded in pristine, uncirculated condition, has been sold for a mind-blowing $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single quarter that many people wouldn't think twice about. Just imagine, one small coin, worth more than most cars, more than a year of college tuition, more than some people make in an entire year, all because of a rare mistake and a little bit of luck. So before you spend your change or cash in those old coins, take a second look. Especially if you come across a 1996 Washington quarter. Check the details carefully. Look for any doubling in the letters or numbers, examine the edges, and see if anything looks unusual. You just might be holding something extraordinary. Top 4. We're about to talk about a coin that millions of people have handled without realizing its hidden potential, the 1997 United States Washington quarter. Now I want you to listen very carefully, because what you're about to learn might just turn your next coin find into a life-changing discovery. This isn't just another old quarter. Under the right circumstances, this 1997 coin could be worth far more than 25 cents. In fact, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a familiar sight in U.S. currency since 1932. By 1997, it had already become a staple of American coinage, with its timeless design featuring the profile of George Washington on the obverse and the fierce American bald eagle on the reverse. This was one of the final years before the 50-state quarters program began, which makes the 1997 edition something of a closing chapter for this classic design. These quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints and released into general circulation. Millions were made, and most were used in everyday purchases, eventually becoming scratched, worn, and forgotten. But here's where it gets exciting. Not all 1997 quarters are created equal. There are some out there, just a small number, that have something special. These coins contain rare minting errors or are in exceptional condition, and they're the ones that collectors are willing to pay big money for. So what kind of errors should you be watching for? Let's talk about one of the most famous, the double die error. This happens when a coin is struck more than once by slightly misaligned dies, causing the lettering or design elements to appear doubled. On a 1997 quarter, this might show up in the word Liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," or even on the date itself. If you spot this kind of doubling with the naked eye, you've likely found a serious rarity. Another error that drives collectors wild is the off-center strike. When the coin is not aligned properly in the press, the design can be shifted to one side, leaving part of the image or lettering missing. These are not only easy to spot, they're also extremely collectible. A 1997 quarter that's significantly off-center, especially if the date is still visible, could be worth far more than its face value. And then there's the ever-elusive missing clad layer error. A Washington quarter is supposed to have a shiny outer layer of nickel over a copper core. But every now and then, the outer layer is missing, either on one side or both. The result is a copper-colored coin that stands out instantly. If you've ever seen a quarter that looks strange, kind of like a penny in disguise, you might have stumbled on a missing clad error. And if that coin happens to be from 1997, you could be in luck. Now let's talk about condition, which is just as important as errors. A 1997 quarter that's been well used probably won't raise any eyebrows. But one that has been preserved in mint state condition, meaning it has no scratches, no wear, and still looks brand new, can fetch serious value, especially if it also includes one of the rare minting errors we've just talked about. Collectors are constantly searching for that perfect combination, a 1997 quarter that's both flawless and unusual. If you have one of these coins, it's more than just a piece of metal, it's a historical artifact, a mistake that became a masterpiece, and potentially a financial windfall. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. A rare 1997 United States Washington quarter, preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, and featuring a significant minting error, has been valued at a breathtaking $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a coin that could have been sitting in someone's change jar for decades. Just imagine finding something like that, completely by surprise. So the next time you get a quarter in your change, take a second before spending it. Look closely. Inspect both sides. Check for errors, examine the surface, and if you think you found something special, get it appraised. You never know, your next quarter might be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Top 5 we're about to reveal could completely change the way you look at the change in your pocket. Because today, we're diving into the mysterious and surprising value of the 1998 United States Washington quarter, a coin that millions of people have spent without ever realizing its hidden potential. Now, this isn't just a story about any quarter. This is about a coin that, under the right circumstances, has shocked collectors and dealers with its rarity, its beauty, and yes, its value. Let's rewind to 1998. This was a special year. It was the final chapter of an era for the Washington quarter, the last year before the launch of the famous 50-state quarters program in 1999. That means the 1998 quarter holds a place of historical significance. It marked the end of the classic eagle reverse design that had been in use since 1932. These coins were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and they entered circulation by the millions. Most were used in everyday life, purchases, parking meters, vending machines, and more. But here's the twist. Some of these coins weren't ordinary at all. We are talking about rare minting errors and unusual variations that make certain 1998 quarters extremely valuable to collectors. Let's explore some of these fascinating features. First, the double die obverse. This rare error happens when the coin's design is struck twice, but slightly out of alignment, creating a visible doubling effect. On a 1998 quarter, this can appear on the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," or even the date itself. This doubling is not just cool, it's extremely valuable. Next, we have the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank planchet isn't properly aligned in the press. The result? A coin with a partial or shifted design, sometimes cutting off key parts of the imagery. If the date and mint mark are still visible and the off-center strike is dramatic, that coin becomes a collector's dream. But perhaps the most exciting error is the missing clad layer. Washington quarters are supposed to have a copper core and a shiny nickel outer layer. But in rare cases, a quarter will leave the mint missing part, or all, of that outer layer. The result is a coin that looks more like a dull copper penny than a silver quarter. These coins are instantly recognizable and extremely rare, and here's something collectors always keep in mind: condition matters. A 1998 quarter that's scratched, tarnished, or worn down from years of use will never fetch big money. But if you come across a mint state 1998 quarter, one that's clean, shiny, and looks like it just left the mint, you're already looking at added value. Combine that condition with a significant mint error, and now you're talking serious money. We are constantly amazed by how many people unknowingly possess coins of great worth. And that's what makes this hobby so thrilling. That old quarter lying at the bottom of a drawer or hiding in a change jar might just be the one worth thousands. So what's the most jaw-dropping part of all this? One extremely rare 1998 Washington quarter, featuring a striking mint error and preserved in pristine uncirculated condition, has been valued at an astonishing $90,000. That's right, $90,000 for a single 25-cent coin. It's incredible to think that something so small could carry so much value. But that's the magic of numismatics. It's a world where mistakes become treasures, and common coins become priceless. We are thrilled to bring you stories like these, and we hope you're enjoying the journey just as much as we are. So, the next time you come across a 1998 quarter, don't spend it, study it. Check both sides carefully. Look for doubling, off-center strikes, missing layers, or anything that seems unusual. That one coin could change everything. If you love this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another discovery. We are passionate about coins, and we're here to help you uncover the hidden treasures that might be right under your nose.